Well, hello, Level 2 and Syllabus 1 students. It's really good to chat with you. I always love working with you guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about some more specific tricks and tips that you can use to get more out of your practice time. And parents, to give you some kind of guidelines and processes that your students should be following during their practice time to get the most out of their lessons. So at this point, your lesson should include 4 different things, and I recommend going in this order, and I'll tell you why. We start with beat the clock, and then scales, and then your repertoire, and your theory last. The reason we start with beat the clock is because otherwise it often gets forgotten, and we don't do it. So just do it at the beginning of the practice, cross it off the list, be done. At this point, you should be nearing the bottom of the first page, or maybe even into the second page on your beat the clock. Remember, as soon as you're done, you're done. I don't make you do it anymore. So parents, they should be saying the names of their treble clef notes and then all the names of their bass clef notes. To pass the level, they need to do it under a minute. Parents, if you don't know how to read sheet music, that's totally fine. I have a parent cheat sheet guide that just has the letters on it in each individual level. So let me know and your teacher can send it over to you. If it's me, I will send that over to you. The next thing we do is move into our scales, and your scales most likely should look something like this. If you're syllabus, then absolutely they look like this. And if you're working through the Faber Level 2 books, then most likely you're probably to this level as well. So you're gonna have a whole bunch of pages printed out, and I have a very specific order that I teach them in, but you don't need to know why that's not important. So here we go, 120 beats a minute. Remember when we practice scales, metronome isn't optional. We need to practice with our metronome. It helps us keep a steady beat, a steady pulse. If it's too fast, just slow it down until you can speed it up. No big deal, but definitely practice with your metronome. So our C scale, and then you play staccato. Right, the whole thing again. The arpeggios is where poor students, they get tricked up. So with this one, I tell them, move, move, don't waste any time, move. And that will help you get all the way up and down. And then our chords. And we play that hands together to pass, and then move on to the next one. I do them in sets. So whatever set it is that you will have been assigned for that week, you should be playing it 3 times a day. And then going back to an old set, whatever old set you want to play it once. But both the major and the minor, that's the one set. After your scales are done, we move into the fun part. This is always the fun part. We get to practice our songs. So depending on what book you're in, it could be the orange book, or it could be the syllabus books. Look like this. And so you're going to have some pieces that you're working on. Let's just open up level 2B here. Oh, canoeing in the moonlight. This one's fun. I'm on page 56 for those of you that are in this book. And I'm listening for lots of things, but when you first start practicing, you got to start with the bottom layers, which is the correct note and the correct finger. That's the first thing. And then as you're going here, we're also going to be listening for rhythm. T, 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 and then we're going to be adding more layers like dynamics along the way. Okay, now let's say that this is a little bit tricky and you can't just sight read this all of a sudden. No problem at all. So you take a small section and you play that until it's smooth, and then we're going to start adding more and more sections together. We're starting to move into the point where I have you practice small sections at a time, 5 times. So there's 1, and then we go back and do it again. And the key here is that they need to be played correctly the first time. So, oh, that was wrong. So that doesn't count. That doesn't count towards your 5. Oh, that was wrong too. That doesn't count towards your 5. There's 1, and we'll do it again. These do not have to be in a row, but what we're doing is establishing consistent patterns and processes with your fingers, your brain, and your ears. It all goes together as you're learning this piece. So again, small sections 5 times correctly the first time. That's the big trick there. Eventually, let's switch into a syllabus book real quick. Eventually, we might need to start working on some pencil method stuff. Okay, I'm on the Minuetto, page 15 by Hostler. This is in the Baroque and Classical book. So let's look at bar 5 here for a second. And this got some little tricky rhythms in here. So what I mean by pencil method, and your students are going to start doing this more and more. You just use a pencil, that's why it has that name. No other reason. Let's give a tempo of 80 to start. It's usually good practice speed. So that's what the whole line sounds like. I would not expect your student to be able to play that whole line at first. So we'd probably do 2 bars. And stop. And then that would be 1 time. Maybe that's even too fast. So you start a little slower. Now it's 65. But we're really working on getting all the notes and the fingers correct with the rhythm the first time. And then this part with metronome, when you're doing metronome work, it's always 3 times in a row before we add the next section. So there's 2. Oops, I messed up. Okay, so then I would go back and actually try it again. We say it's no big deal that you messed up. No big deal at all. But what is a big deal is that we go back and we fix it. And we just try it again. It's a process of just trying it again. No big deal at all. Just go back. Okay, so there's kind of a overview of how your songs should be looking. And then the last part is your theory. And for the Faber books, levels 2A and 2B, just do your theory at the beginning of the week, probably just 1 or 2 pages a day, or, I'm sorry, a week, 1 or 2 pages a week. But if you're into syllabus, then I assign 1 page per day. So just at the end of your practice time, you work through 1 page, and then we'll bring it back and I'll look at all of that at the end of the week. Okay, I hope that was helpful for our level 2 and syllabus level 1 students. If you have any specific questions about how to help your student more, you know I'm always here. Just give me a shout. I'd be happy to help. Okay, I'll see you guys later.